Thank you so much for coming to our workshop for Smirk and Dagger games. We're glad to have you here. We're only sorry we couldn't be all together in person. I'm Kurt Covert. We got three games that we're going to cover today. Um, some of you have seen these in various stages of development, but I want to show you, some of the core ways that we're thinking about selling it. Um, and we also want to wrap up today with kind of addressing the big question. Now, obviously, the industry is a little bit challenged right now. Some retailers are still just working online. Some are doing some form of connecting with their clientele in store. But I think what we're all struggling with is how can publishers and retailers really fill the gap that in-person demos and events have kind of left wide open? How can we capitalize on showcasing games to people and selling more units, getting them excited about it? Now, I don't propose that I have the solution for everything, but I am going to talk about how we're planning to deal with it, and then I'm going to invite you to potentially partake in some of the plans that we've got. So, of course, it is getting close to Q4. I mentioned this just because you know what, you guys all know merchandising, and certainly as it relates now online content curation. I'm bringing this up because I've got two titles I just want to touch on briefly that would make great stocking stuffers. And I think this year, especially with COVID, people are going to be looking for real fun, exciting things they can give as gifts, but are not going to be big on the bank account. So some more inexpensive items that deliver big fun. And as I talk about those, I want to talk about the Deadlies as one of those. So the Deadlies is a great beer and pretzels family weight take that style card game. It's just $15, and this came out, I think, the week after Gamma. So it made its splash, had its street date, and then of course everything closed down immediately. We still consider this a brand new title. I think we're absolutely pushing it as though it is right out of the gate right now, and we'll do so all the way through holiday. It is 3 to 5 players. Even ages 8 and up can probably do it, but we've got it listed as 10 plus, and it's about a 30-minute game. Obviously, this is about the 7 deadly sins, but here depicted as these kind of cute animals. So Wrath is a very annoyed rabbit, and we've got gluttony and pride, all depicted as fun versions of their sins. But what's kind of cool about it is you can wrap your head around this game, especially with non-gamers, as like, oh, it's like a more interesting Uno because you're trying to get rid of your hand as quickly as you can. And then the fun of the game, and what makes it more interesting, is that each of these suits has a really thematic ability based on the deadly that it represents. So people are trying to load you back up with cards as you're trying to get rid of them, and that's what the Deadlies is. Again, it's a laugh-filled game and something I think would be great for a stocking stuffer. The other thing, of course, is we've got still Roll for Your Life Candyman. Our gingerbread titles have traditionally been great during the holidays. This one obviously has the acrylic candy cane that's in there that you're all grabbing for when you roll the right dice. But this is a speed dice quick reaction game for 2 to 4 players, 8 and up, 10 to 30 minutes depending on how many players you've got, and it's $20. So again, this is just a frenetic game, grabbing dice, rolling as quickly as you can, and getting those right matches so that you can remove the limbs off of your opponent's cookie character. And it's a blast. And as I say, Candyman, it just always sells well during the holidays. So make sure you have some on hand. But now let's actually get to some of the new titles that I really wanted to highlight here. And actually, and before I do, I should just talk to you too about our show special. We've got a 5% off show special. So we've been restricted to 4 titles, so we've chosen things that we think would be particularly great during the holiday time. So a lot of these are family titles or very approachable titles. So Woolly Mammoth, The Deadly, Cinder, Shobu, all really great titles for this end of the year. But let's talk a little bit about Cinder itself. Cinder is a game for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 plus, 30 to 40 minutes, and this is a push your luck dice fest. It's also a card game. It retails for $30, and the games have just arrived at the warehouse. So our street date is October 28th here. I think give or take a couple days, but that's where we look like we're going to land. Um, this is a game that obviously it is a spoof on Tinder and modern dating, and we've blended that with this quirky fantasy gaming trope where you are an adventuring character who has decided that dating dragons sounds like a lot of fun so long as you don't get burned in the process. It really targets casual gamers extremely well. 20 to 30-year-olds who really understand online dating is an absolute focus point for us. But it's also going to apply to dice chucking fans and fantasy role players. And what I like to do is I'd like to show you just a little bit of the thematic video that explains it. Stop waiting for love. Find it on Cinder. So roll the dice and date a dragon. Are you a dragon looking for companionship? Or just the adventurous type looking to join the exciting dragon dating scene? Cinder will connect you with your perfect match. Just set up a dating profile. Name, pronoun, likes and dislikes, and a few personal preferences. Then thumb through a few potential matches. See a dragon you like? Swipe right and see how compatible you are. The closer your preferences, the better your odds. Now, invite them on a fun-filled date using our sister app, Whelp, for extra bonuses. Time to roll the dice. Ooh, that went well. 4 hearts. But watch out. Just 3 fires will leave you burned, scoreless, and searching for love all over again. Will you be the first of your friends to find love and fulfillment? Cinder. Date dragons without getting burned. So this was our very first Kickstarter, and it did pretty darn well. And I want to highlight just a little bit more about the gameplay. You'll notice that when you first get your character profile, you end up writing your name and your pronoun and a like and a dislike. All of that stuff is honestly just purely thematic, but it became a really important part of the game because it's what people really responded to in terms of investing themselves into this character and started relating to the dragons and their dice rolls, not just as, oh, I pushed my luck, I failed, but like, oh man, what happened? What happened during dinner? Did you say something weird? Like people will start role playing their characters a little bit, which is great. But of course, the mechanical part is where you're choosing on the compatibility matcher, as it relates to treasure. Are you a hoarder, an investor, or a spender? And you circle one of those, and you do that for each category. And of course, when you actually get the dragon, you're really kind of looking at their write-up to try to see, well, do I think there are clues in that are going to help me decide whether this is a good match for me? So then, of course, when I flip that card over, I actually compare their compatibility to mine, and that determines what dice I get. The dice are weighted, and the closer I am, the better the odds are going to be. And of course, you go on a date somewhere. So using the Whelp deck of location cards, you're going to read about the various places that the dragons thought would be fun for a date. And then you'll hear about the 3 phases of dating. So meeting up, the next step, and taking things to the next level. It is also going to impact your dice when you go to a different location. So your dice pool will be modified. And there's going to be some bonus things that if you can score this particular roll, different things will happen. And that just kind of creates some more interest during the game. As we look at selling this game, it's not something that we really talk about in the rules, but there's something that in the design that we're really pretty proud of. Obviously, it's a dating game, but these dragons are completely gender fluid. We've even had like a 5-year-old ask, well, is this a boy dragon or a girl dragon? And they're intended to not necessarily be super distinct. Also, it's important to say that the dating environment is super positive. This is a feel good game. So, all the baggage that can come from dating is not really part of the play. And that's one of the reasons why we have you as a fantasy character and not yourself. Because once you take yourself out of it and you put yourself in this role playing world, a lot of weirdness around the table kind of disappears completely, and it becomes a much more friendly game where it's not going to get weird on people. Um, and the other nice thing about the design is that all dating styles actually have an equal chance of winning the game. So if you're someone who's looking for like that one perfect dragon, one true love, you can win that way. Um, if you just want to kind of just date all kinds of different dragons, you can score lots of points and win that way too. And quite honestly, some of the dragons have synergies, and if you want to date maybe a small group of dragons, that's cool too. The point is that all of this stuff is not something that we really hard sell, but it is something that people appreciate when they see the game and understand that they can kind of play the way they want to play. And this has been something that has been recognized and brought back to our attention as something that people really appreciate about the game. So, in any case, it's good for you to know it too. There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes in the box. There are 30 tarot-sized dragon cards. They're nice and big. Lots of location cards, 12 different character profiles for you to choose, everything from a unicorn to a Medusa to a barbarian. So lots of different things you can be. And of course, there are ways to mitigate your dice rolls, and that's where the second chance cards come in. So if you fail badly on one date, that's usually the worst part of a push your luck dice game. Well, you're going to get something that's going to help you in the next round on your next date, something that you can now use to help minimize future failures. And again, it's a $30 game. So that was Cinder. And now I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the Night Cage as well. It was a very splashy event that overlapped Gen Con this year. We've got this game. It's set for 1 to 5 players, 14 and up, 50 minutes, and it runs 40 to 50 minutes pretty consistently. This is a horror-themed, fully cooperative game, and it's all about tile placement. I know it's odd that I would be talking about a fully cooperative game coming from my background as the backstabbing guy, but this is a great co-op, and I absolutely love it. It is going to retail for $40. And as I mentioned, this Kickstarter funded in about 90 minutes. It went up to 4,200 pledges, and it did extremely well. It will street date in mid-March of next year. And we suspect that is based on how much attention it got and how many accolades we got from reviewers, that it should do extremely well when it streets as well. This is a game that is it's a strategy-based puzzle game. It's got a very heavy thematic. So it's evocative, it's intense and creepy. People have talked about it like, their palms are sweating as they're revealing tiles and hoping they don't find a monster. You can also, of course, sell this to anyone who is a co-op game player. Anyone who just is looking for a 2-player game right now, or even a solo game right now. This game has those modes, and it operates extremely well at those modes. One of the things I really liked about it is that for people who are not necessarily co-op game players, I'm not really normally one, that's true because I really don't like quarterbacking. And this game, because of the mechanics it involves, is a little less susceptible to quarterbacking. I think because there's no perfect information. So you may have a gut feel on what the best move is, but there's no way to really hang your hat on this being the definitive decision. So it still leaves everyone's turn open for them to really take. Well, let me give you just a little taste of that, and here's a little intro video.
You awake in the dark, your skin cold, your mind blank. You have nothing but your fear, a candle, and a question. How long how long will your light last? You must work with the others to find a way out before you meet what waits beyond your light.
I just absolutely love this game, and honestly, I'm not alone. It even in prototype form, it got a lot of recognition. The designers put it in front of a lot of design competitions, and it won or placed in almost all of them. In fact, that's where I discovered it. I was an Ion Award uh, judge. Um, in any case, since then it's been getting a lot of great critical review from people who had prototypes and gave it a look. So again, I think there's going to be a lot of energy around this game as it continues to move forward. So something I think to be excited about on all sorts of levels. One of the things I think really makes it a standout is this mechanic of the candlelight. It is a tile placement game, but the candlelight mechanic makes it really unique. And this whole idea where you're only lighting one tile around yourself, and then as you move, your light moves with you, and tiles start being added as you light them and then being removed from places that are beyond your candlelight. Um, this is just something that is wildly compelling. So if I now go backwards and I retrace my steps, those tiles are going to be completely new. So I really feel like I am helplessly lost in this ever changing landscape of this dark labyrinth. Um, by the way, there is this really cool tile holder that comes with the game. It's a 3D construction. All the tiles that are for the group of players start in that stack, and as you start taking them one by one, your candlelight visibly diminishes over time. So when you draw that last piece of wax out of your candle, that signals the end game as your light now slowly diminishes around you, and tiles start disappearing even from the light. So it's just got this great table presence and a great mesh of mechanic and thematic. There are over 100 different maze tiles. It will support 5 players with all the things you need. It's got a discard board. We now have these great metal keys as a result of the Kickstarter. Those will be in the actual retail box, and they are shaped like the keys that are illustrated in the game. So those are going to be specially molded. And of course, we're doing all of that for $40. So this is a great value. Um, it also has scaling difficulty. So even just by taking out a key or adding a monster, you can make this game a lot harder. But we've also got now advanced game monsters like here the Keeper and the Pit Fiend. And just at the very end of the Kickstarter, we added boss monsters, which can add difficulty to both the base game and the advanced game. So there's a lot of replay in that box as you delve deeper and challenge yourself more. And of course, this game is available on Tabletop Simulator. So I, first of all, would like to invite you to come and join and play it, take a demo with us. So I will be, of course, in the Discord channel, and I'm also going to be setting up some times where if you've got a free moment, come on in and schedule a full demo or a full playthrough if you like. So I will have that information available in our Discord area. We actually have a lot of our games now. We've got 6 games right now in Tabletop Simulator. So Cinder is also available. If you want to check that one out, I can show that to you. And some of our classics are in there too, like Before There Were Stars. Which all of this kind of gets me to the big question I mentioned a bit earlier. How can we fill the gap that in-person demos and events have left? Now, it's no surprise that things like Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator are really important these days in terms of getting people exposed to new games. But there's an interesting development that I want to make you guys aware of. Um, and I think it's really going to have an opportunity to impact more people in a more focused and organized way that can lead to specific call to actions. So, a lot of you have heard of or have worked with Envoy. Envoy is a third party demo team that traditionally can be invited into your retail store, or you can even be part of the team with one of your staff members can join as well. This October 1st, I think today, I guess, they are opening a virtual demo website called Gateway. And quite honestly, it's basically doing what they do already, but having a calendar space where they can organize these demos 24/7. So the question of, hey, can you show me this game, which is something we hear either in our stores or at conventions, that's how people want to engage. They want to know more about the game, and now we can actually do that by having live demos where people can book a game and then play and learn with Envoy Heralds. So here, for example, is a snapshot at the current October calendar. Obviously, Envoy serves a lot of different companies, not just mine. So there's a lot of different options of games that are being offered up for people to go in, click on, schedule, reserve a seat, almost like they're at a convention. But this is something they can do any day of the week. It's also something that you guys, if you wanted to, could create your own events for. So imagine that you've got an employee who's like, you know what? Yeah, I wouldn't mind, demoing this game. We had a lot of heart for this game. We brought in copies. Let's try to actively sell it. Like people were actually, here, and we could do a demo in the store. You can go in and set up your own event and invite, however you contact your constituents and say, hey, listen, we're going to be doing a live playthrough. Come and join us, learn how to play the game, or watch us play. Um, and by doing so, you can then at the end of that demo go ahead and have a call to action that says, hey, by the way, we've got this on feature. You can order it today. You can come on into the store and pick it up. However you want to engage with your clientele, this creates a way for all of us to find that critical mass of how do we get someone excited about a game that we all have heart for and just want to show more people. So hopefully that's helpful. And if it is, you can certainly sign up for Envoy yourself or an employee for the overall program. Contacting Vinny or Avi at the information I have on the screen. Or if you want to actually engage in a demo with me, you can go to this website, and I have the demos that we're running listed as retailer only. Night Cage, retailer only, Cinder. So you can sign up for any open slot and you can see how it all works. By the way, when we created tabletop simulator games, we actually thought about demos as part of that. So this will make it even easier for you to run a demo in this way. So by clicking the demo button, this will automatically showcase all the different cards in the game for deadlies. It'll allow you to, by clicking the next button, to show up nice and big one of the games so you can talk about it and talk about that special ability this pride has. And then you click next, and now you're talking about, well, here are the various ways and sets of cards you can play. It's all guided there for you to easily show people what you need to as you're going. We even took Menace Among Us, which if you've played it, you know that the biggest thing is the setup of that game. Well, here, just by clicking your character card or your agenda, it's going to automatically set your 20 card deck, really cutting down on the organization time for the game. Of course, we also have all our retailer resources available on our website. If you go to the front page, you'll see at the very bottom it says retailer resources. It'll tell you whether a game is in or out of stock. We've got marketing kits for all our games. I do have 2 I need to put up, at least this was pre-recorded, so they should be up shortly. And then we also, of course, have demo guides. So that's part of the kit. They're great for both the virtual version as well as in-store versions of doing demos. So even just by without a full read of the rules, this will help you overview play by showing the different pieces. So those demo scripts are available as well. Well, that is basically it. Thank you so much. I hope you'll come both to the Discord booth with any questions that you've got. Also, I'd like to invite you if you have things you want to talk about after the fact. My phone number, my email are here. I'm available. So come and reach out and definitely schedule a demo for one of these games that really caught your interest. I would love to show it to you, and I look forward to seeing you really soon. Thanks.